All right, guys, we are live on YouTube with our first ever Game of Thrones live after show. We just finished watching season 5, episode 1, and now we're going to talk about it because that's what you do in after shows. Uh, we're a little bit rusty. We used to do a podcast a while back, a little bit rusty in this, but let's go around the room and introduce ourselves. My name's Matt, part of the Nerd Punch crew. Dan, you're above me. Why don't you go up here? Up here. I'm poking you. I'm poking you right here.
I am Cal Drogo. I starred in the first season of Game of Thrones.
And then he died.
And then I got killed.
Yeah.
But my Seven Stars is still alive, and she is roaming.
And she's sleeping with another dude, so I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, you got to move on. I went on to do Conan and some other great movies. And
You're going to be Aquaman.
let's chill. Well, and now I've come full circle, and I'll fail for the rest of my life because I'm Aquaman. No,
You shut up.
I'm Dan, just DC Hooper on Nerd Punch. Somebody else.
You got to point. You got to point across to your left to Opie.
I'm not even watching the stream, so I don't know where I'm pointing. Here, this guy.
Hey, I'm Opie, the Nerd Punch crew, Opie Online on Nerd Punch, and Tommy Boy, if you know me.
No
And
one
the guy
knows
down,
if I talk about it.
and there's a guy down below me.
There you go. And he's muted.
I'm mute.
Yeah.
Eve.
Eve.
I'm Dave Witt. I'm. Shut up.
He's the
I'm
old
Dave
man of the
Witt,
group.
On Twitter, and Dave Witt on here, and pretty much Molly Hatchet anywhere else.
Yeah. Oh, now I can see the stream. Hey, all right. Cool,
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, awesome. Thanks for joining us, Dan. Appreciate it.
I see where we are now.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Awesome. All right, guys. So we just finished watching season 5, episode 1. And I read some notes. Dan, I saw you writing some stuff while we were watching it.
I got all kinds of stuff. So first off, the whole thing starts off with a recap of last season.
Thank goodness, because I didn't remember half that stuff.
People die.
Yeah. Hey, and that's actually before it goes without saying, but we're going to be talking spoilers throughout the episode. So if you haven't watched the episode, don't watch this
Right.
until after that. I mean, still watch it, but wait.
So spoilers for last season. We saw Oberyn's death again from episode 8. We saw the wall fight and Ingrid getting killed again. We saw Tyrion killing Tywin and Shay.
Shay, which I had forgotten about. I hate to say it, but
King
So
Joffrey.
Robert dying from the first season.
That's true. We saw Joffrey dying, but that was showing something else though from Lancel Lannister, which is part of this episode that came up in one of the sections. So, but you saw Joffrey from the first of the season die. So yeah, all the death and carnage from the finals of last season. So what I think is what we should do is kind of give our overall thoughts of the episode and then kind of go through scene by scene and kind of talk about what happened in the series. If
Yeah.
that's cool.
yeah, that's fine. And
Thoughts?
I'll start because I have a thought on the very beginning of it. The flashback, Cersei's flashback. I kind of like the way they did it. I didn't know at first that it was a flashback. I was trying to think, who are these little
These two
girls?
kids are.
Yeah, who are these? Are we supposed to know these guys? And I was actually writing a note because I was going to ask you guys here, who are these people? What are we supposed to know about them? But then right at the end, when the other little girl mentions Cersei's name, and it's cool how she gets her fortune. You're gonna be queen. Your husband's gonna have 20 kids, but you'll have 3. And she's like, "How's that possible?" It's like, I guess she doesn't math, bro. But and then
Did it take for her telling all that stuff where you figured it was Cersei?
yeah,
When did you pick up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I didn't
Well,
pick it up
no,
until she mentioned her name at the end of that bit.
Yeah, when they came out and said who she was, I'm like, oh, so she's always been a bitch.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I saw the pendant on her neck
Oh,
that had the lion.
Oh,
it was like,
Dan
okay.
and his details.
yeah,
And it's like, okay, so they're going back with Cersei. And then when they got into the story about, her having 3 kids and him having 20 and she'd be queen and then she wouldn't, it's like, oh, this is Cersei. This is easy.
yeah.
So
I
it
just
just
didn't
shows
pick up
that
on
I'm
that.
smarter than the rest of these guys.
Right,
No, I'm just
and that you've also listened to the audiobooks.
Thank you. So what are your guys' thoughts? Give me your thoughts over the overall of the episode. Don't break anything down. We'll go into that in here in a little bit. But
Okay.
I thought it was pretty good. With the opening where they went to the flashback, I kind of forgotten how big of a drop off or all the crap that happened. But just, I think they touched all the major points. I think you see where most of the people end up and start, and it pretty much left off with not really a lot of looked like time elapsed between where we had to kind of fill in the gaps. I mean, everything just pretty much picked up right where we left off. And just it's just your typical first episode. Not a lot of um, big explosions or big surprises, but everything kind of just sets it up for the rest of the season, which is kind of the way it should be.
I thought it was a good first episode. Usually first episodes tend to be a little slow, like you said, Opie, set up things. But this was good. Like there was still enough interesting things that happened. The bit at the end, which we'll talk about. I'm excited for the direction that some of the storylines are going to take, especially with Daenerys and Tyrion. But it was a great setup for things to come, and I think this is going to be a big season.
Dave?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. I mean, it's touched on pretty much most of the people that it was following during the end of the fourth season, and I was really kind of it was really kind of cool the way Tyrion was told that he was. I mean, he wasn't ever going to be a king because of pretty much everything that he's been through, but he actually was smart enough and had enough balls essentially to tell people how it was that he could be like an advisor,
Right.
which I thought was really cool. So
Balls.
I didn't think. Okay, so my definition is slow may not be the same as these guys. I understand that slow for you guys mean like action wise. I like really good story,
Right.
really good character development. So when this episode I thought was really good, very well paced. I didn't think it was slow, and it built up a lot of stuff that's going to be coming up in this season. That's really really cool, and they left out a lot. We haven't seen some stuff that's supposedly happening down in Dorne from Prince Oberon, and we didn't get to see Theon and what's going on with them, and we didn't see what's his name, the Boltons, not Roose, but his bastard son. Oh, what is his name?
Yeah, I know who you're talking. Yeah, and that's probably something that we should mention too. Is that we're pretty bad with names, especially me. So I'll throughout the season while we're doing this every week, I'm probably going to be the guy that's the leader of the things, and he does the stuff with the thing on it.
Well, when we go scene by scene, I'll try to set it up a little bit easier with names.
Well, okay, so you're
saying
saying we're missing a bunch of stuff, but this is the first episode,
I know, not a ton, just a few storylines that'll probably hit next episodes.
Right.
There's some stuff coming up from Dorne, which I'm really excited
Exactly.
about, which will be in this season.
Yes.
And we did see a lot of stuff that will be, it's built. It has to build in the first episode to show what is coming all through the season to get there. So yes, I was super excited. I really loved it. I thought it was good. I'm not going to give it a bad review. I'm just biased because it's the best show on TV. Anyway, so so let's go. We talked most about the very first of it with young Cersei. The series opens up again. Spoilers, guys, all through it. We're breaking down the episode all the way through. So just so you know, and kind of giving our own ideas. Again, this is kind of parts books 4 and 5. If you are in the books, a lot of the story is waned from the books. I've read through the 3rd book and part of the 4th, never read the 5th, so I'm getting to the point where I don't know what's happening next. I have ideas and things like that, but we can kind of speculate and see what we think is going to happen as well. So we went over young Cersei, things like that. Then we go from there and we see older Cersei, and she's getting out of the carriage and going, and she's Marjorie standing there again that she despises.
Who's
for
hot.
no reason. Yeah, just because Marjorie is beautiful and probably going to take her other son from her. And then her and Jaime talking in front of their dead father. This is building something, I don't know if you guys know, but because there's going to be something that happens later on. I wanted to get your guys' take on this. Do you still think they're in love the way that the show puts them, or do you think there's going to be a break there?
Wait, who are you talking about?
Jaime and Cersei.
Cersei.
I think it's one way. I think Jaime's in love with Cersei, but not the other way.
Okay.
I don't think he is. I don't think he's in love with Cersei anymore over all he went through last season, and
Really?
that crap. Yeah, I don't think he's in love with her anymore. I don't think.
Well, she's kind of trifling, so how could you be? I mean, really.
Well, that's true. I think that when the going is good, then Cersei gets what she wants. But now that everything, the going's bad, and she doesn't really know who. I think everything that Jamie's done with releasing Tyrion, and then she's going to blame him for that. There's
Oh,
no
yeah.
way she. Can,
Oh yeah, she did.
They
blame
don't.
him for it.
Yeah, they don't love each other anymore. Or I don't know if you call that.
I think
love,
I think he's seeing a darker side to her. She's
Oh.
become more of an alcoholic. She thinks she's losing all her power, which she pretty much is right now. There's a lot of things going on there, and she wants to blame everybody else but herself. She thinks she's still perfect. But yeah, she likes to throw the blame on everybody, and I think that's causing a big issue there. So then you go into another scene, and this is not a really big one, but just a little one to show what's happened. So Varys and Tyrion end up back in the Free Cities. I think it's Panthos, or I'm not for sure.
Yeah,
which
that's the thing I
exactly
couldn't. That's the thing I was unsure of is where they actually were. I know they mentioned it. It was a friend of Varys. He said a merchant friend of his.
Ilario is from season 1, where you see Daenerys and her brother staying with a certain person when the cow shows up to pick them up and get married.
Okay.
That's Illyrio. And
Okay.
Illyrio's been friends with Varys for a long time. He's one of his spiders, one of his little birds. And it's funny because in the first season, Arya finds her way into the bottom of the castle and stuff, and she's moving around or whatnot, and she sees all the dragon heads. Well, Varys is having a conversation with somebody down there, and it's Illyrio himself, and they're discussing, we found Daenerys, and we're trying to move her around, blah, blah, blah. So Varys has known about her ever since season 1
Okay.
and knew all this stuff. So they're there. There's nothing much to say about that scene. It was just, them talking about poo.
And
Right.
going up,
Which actually was pretty funny. Talking about squeezing.
you can rally.
Yeah.
Rally.
He did puke and rally. That was nice. I did that once in college. It was that exact thing.
You move on. The next scene is pretty important. They're tearing down the statue on top of the pyramid in Marin. Or Mirin. I
Marine.
probably pronounce it. Yeah, Marine. Thank
Marine.
you.
Yeah.
And then it goes to Daenerys, or actually, it doesn't go to Daenerys just yet. It goes to one of the Unsullied with some boobage. We see some boobage with the whores.
We're always
And,
okay with that.
The Hoors.
We see it. All of a sudden, somebody's throat just gets slit. And dude to mask.
And scene.
So I was thinking about that. So
Tuxedo mask.
It's all Sailor Moon. It always comes back to
It always
Sailor
goes,
Moon.
well, so it's not an episode of Game of Thrones unless someone gets their throat slit. I mean, that's just what we've come to. I mean, that's where we're at.
That effect is always really cool and pretty. It's going to show exactly what's going to happen there. He's not living anymore. He's going to bleed out.
Yeah.
Once that happens, you do find out that the guy who slit the throat is from the Sons of the Harpies.
The Sons of the Harpies. Yeah, I wrote that down.
Yeah.
Do we know them yet?
Not yet. They
Okay.
haven't been brought up. And I don't know much about them either from even the books. I don't think they were ever talked about from where I read to. So that's going to be an interesting storyline. And if you look back to the trailer, they're talking about the fighting pits in this episode as well, trying to get them reopened, things like that, to show the people that, she's trying to help them out, things like that. In that Daenerys is in there with the Sons of the Harpies, having them surrounded and fighting her with her people in the middle. So there's going to be an interesting storyline that comes from that, which is kind of cool. Which means she's going to be fighting somebody over there. We just don't know. We know their name. We just don't know who they are.
Right.
You go from there, you got Missandei talking with Grey Worm downstairs, no big deal. Then you jump back to the wall finally. We get to see Jon Snow
Yes.
train a bunch of punks. And tell them to keep their shield up.
Tell them to come at me, bro.
But you can see Sam and Gilly chatty back and forth and stuff like that. I think most of the first scenes that all the way through this was just, hey, you guys remember these dudes?
You remember
And
us?
then
Yeah, they are.
the second 30 minutes was where the meat of all the information came from. But
Yep.
it was cool seeing Sam and Gilly. There's a relationship building there and stuff like that. And they're
Well,
crazy.
so the
Been
kid.
for a while.
Yeah. So the kid that Jon Snow was training, that was the kid who killed
Grit.
Ingrid. Right. That's the reason they showed that scene in the.
I think so. Yeah.
And I kind of thought that he was really being hard on him because of that, because the kid killed Ingrid. But then he kind of softened up, and it looked like he was really just honestly trying to train him and help him out. So I didn't know where that was going. I thought he was actually going to be kind of a dick to him, but then again, it's Jon Snow and he's awesome, so he's not
Right.
really going to be a dick to anybody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. And then you find out during that scene that what's his face, and I'm trying to find his name right now. I
Yeah.
can't think of it.
Hurry, Google.
Lord Guy and Guy is the leader of the Crows.
Alistair Throne.
I don't know if it's Alistair. I don't think that's it.
See, I told you guys we're bad with names. We need to. We'll find like a character list before next week.
I have one here, and I'm going through it.
Okay, nice.
But anyways,
Because there's a billion characters.
He's the leader of them as of this point right now. So I know I'm talking about. If you guys want to jump in,
No. It's good to recap. I made some notes that I'll jump in when we hit. Actually, you know what? That's a good place to start. So I was a little when Melisandre showed up. She just out of nowhere showed up in the room. Hey, Jon Snow, the king wants to see you. I wrote that down as a question thing of when did she get there? Thinking that she was supposed, like we should have known that she was there already, but I guess they just got there to visit. So I was surprised to see Stannis and her there.
Well, you got to remember, at the end of last season, they attacked the wildlings at the wall.
Oh, that's right.
They've been
Thank
there
you.
since then.
Thank you. Jeez.
And actually, that scene's one that comes a little bit later in the episode, where she says the king wants to see you, and he goes up to talk to
Okay.
Stannis.
Well, then we'll revisit that.
Right, though. I'll go with you. I think you're right.
Well, it's okay. I mean, we don't have to go scene by scene, but
Right. But you do get him to talk because he tells him that if Mance doesn't bend the knee at that point, that he's going to kill him, and he needs Mance's. That's right. This is that part. I didn't write this down. I'm sorry. He goes up to the top, talks to Stannis, and Davos is Stannis's hand. Not his actual hand.
it's not like the Parasite, that anime, right, where he's got the thing.
He named one hand Davos, the other one
Is Chad.
Chad.
Chad hand. But so he goes in there talking about attacking Roose Bolton in the north, and he needs the wildlings to help. Mm-hmm. And if Mance would bend the knee, he would allow Mance to live and get the wildlings. Hopefully they follow. But if he didn't, he was going to kill Mance there. So some interesting information there. It's like, so Stannis has a pretty big army, but he needs more to be able to take on Roose Bolton in the north, to be able to take that on down. So
do you think it's going to happen now? If they killed that guy?
Oh, I don't know. It just depends on the wild. The wildlings are free people anyways. They don't have to follow Mance. They just called him king of the
They
north.
just chose to.
Yeah,
okay.
They chose him. He was able to bring all the tribes together, but they still don't. They're all free people. They can do whatever they want.
Do you think that they should have? Do you think the man should have bent the knee to Stannis? I actually kind of thought he was going to at the end, which we'll talk about, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a question whether they would have thought him. Yeah, exactly, and thought of him better or worse. So from there you jump to Opie's favorite part, little Robin Aaron and his sword fighting skills.
Boom.
Now remind me who those kids were.
Oh, well, Robin's the only one we know. That is the Lady of the Eyrie. I can't remember.
Oh, was that
always feeding on her breast?
yeah. Oh
The lady that got
gosh.
thrown out the hole.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Littlefinger
Throw
threw
down
it.
the hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Littlefinger and Sansa show up at, I think it was Lord Royce is the name they gave. Not really a big part there. Didn't matter. And you get to see Robin fighting like a big sissy because he is a sissy.
We watched it together, but we said we weren't going to interject or add commentary because we really wanted to focus on the show. But the whole time I was thinking that I just wanted to scream out. You ever sword fight with Dan?
Yeah.
He just holding his shield up and just.
I think that was just, hey, let's put Robin here. Now we go do what we want to. He's out of the story. We don't have to worry about him anymore. We stuck him in a place. There you go.
Yep.
You jump from there. You go to Podrick Payne and Brienne.
Yes.
Out in the woods, and Brian's telling him, I don't need a squire, blah, blah, blah. I think it was just a clip to show that they're there. Hey, look.
Right, which I had forgotten they were palling around together. So
Right. Which they're both cool characters, just nothing really happening with them right now. You go back to Littlefinger and Sansa, which was an interesting part. They're in the carriage and they're leaving.
and they passed Brienne and Podrick, right?
Yes.
Did they? I didn't see that.
Is that?
I-
That's what I thought.
They did.
Because I thought
Because Brienne and Dude were out there, and then they kind of pan off, and you see the You see the carriage and the horses walking by, and they
Okay.
instantly jump in the cart.
I thought it was just kind of going to scene. I didn't
I
think it was them
I think they, from what I remember, they looked up and they saw the carriages coming by, and I was internally screaming, "Brienne, Sansa's right there. You're looking for her. She's right there. Just go
They
knock on the
probably did
door."
that. I wouldn't even.
They did that on purpose.
Right.
That's what it looks like to me.
But they have a conversation about planning to leave, and he's telling how he's going to get her miles and thousands of miles away.
So far away, Cersei can't even
so
touch
she
her.
Can't find him.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I don't know what that leading to or anything there, but kind of puts a little, hey, what are they planning? You know, where are they going? You go from there, and then you have Cersei at the little meal thing for their father that's been killed.
The wake, I guess.
Their potluck, yeah.
Their potluck dinner
Like,
for dead
And
Tywin,
you
right?
have Loras Tyrell, the Knight of Roses or Knight of Flowers, saying all kinds of stuff behind her, and she's just like, whatever, leave me alone. And you have a character come in, Lancel Lannister, and so he was
Yep.
a younger dude he's the one with the wine. So you find out that he had wine that he gave Robert Baratheon that got him drunk or drugged, that got him killed by the boar. And you find out that
Oh.
he was part of that because Cersei tempted him and slept with him and blah blah blah. Well, he gets hurt at the Blackwater. He ends up joining this group, the Sparrows, which will play a big part later on. This religious sect in the story.
So I wrote that down. Cersei's cousin. So I wrote that down. Now we've seen him before, right?
Yeah, he was in last season or the season before. He's been living in the castle, but it may have been earlier than that. I think he got hurt during the Battle of the Blackwater. But yeah, she had tempted him, slept with him, was using him to get information, blah, blah, blah. He got hurt during that. He ends up changing religion to join the Sparrow sect of religion, and now he was wanting her to, to apologize or asking for forgiveness.
I remember him getting hurt. Didn't he get like fire? Caught fire, on fire or something? Or
Maybe. I don't know if they actually showed it in the episode. I don't remember if it actually showed him getting hurt or not. But it's supposed to play off that point of him
Right.
during that. So you go from there, and then you go to Happy Sex Time with
Which was
Loris and I think his credit is male prostitute in the actual names and listed credits on IMDb.
is it really?
nice.
No, it can't be, because
he
he
doesn't
clearly
have a name.
he clearly said his name was Oliver in the show.
Yeah, she said his name too. Yeah.
Okay, I think he's listed as male prostitute on the IMDb page. It is not listed as Oliver. So Oliver
That's a real
and
career boost.
Yeah.
Loris have some fun times, and Marjorie comes in and runs off
Doesn't know
male
how to-
prostitute number one.
Doesn't know how to knock.
Right? And she kind of talks to her brother like, get dressed. You don't probably have to get married to Cersei now. Who knows what's going to happen? Blah, blah, blah. Everybody knows everything. Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, see, I was thinking that too about because he mentioned that now that Tywin's dead, he doesn't have to marry Cersei, and I was thinking that Cersei, obviously she's sad that her father passed, or that he was killed, but isn't she? I wonder, she's got to be a little bit happy that she won't have to marry him because she didn't want to do that either.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
No, and she probably is. And I'm wondering if that's going to change anything or not. You got to remember now, Tomlin's there. She doesn't have much protection in the capital anymore. She has her brother. She has herself. Her dad's gone. Her little brother's gone. The Lannister's name is kind of dwindling big time and fast. Everybody's dying in that family. So she has to find some way of protecting the throne for her son.
You don't think she has a lot of protection though? Because she's still the king's mother.
That doesn't matter. It's a young king, about 10 years old, and a woman. And in this place, it's like, okay, any really respectable large family could probably come in and take over the throne from
Right.
Yep.
in political play. So she has to find some way to protect herself. She has to do a lot of work, and that'll come up later in the season.
Okay.
So the next few seasons are the ones that were like the bread and butter of the whole thing. So you had Varys and Tyrion again,
Yeah.
and this is where they talk about some things.
Yes.
that
I
we
think
talked about.
that's a key. I think that's a key scene for the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Varys is kind of Tyrion just wants to give up. He's just done. He's just, I'm like, forget it. I'm just going to drown in my sorrows. I don't need anything. Everything's gone, blah, blah, blah. But Varys is telling him, is like, listen, you're a smart dude. You're really intelligent. You have compassion. You are a big asset for what's about to go down, pretty much. It's like, don't kill yourself. you're a really important player in this game.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, I
that's
took
pretty
it
much what
that
he's going through.
I took it that as he was saying, you can influence or help Daenerys, obviously, become queen of Westeros, and by doing that, assert yourself or position yourself in a well position of power, basically. So don't you can help somebody get the throne, and then you'll be set after that.
Oh, that was the advisor scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Varys is never about. He seems evil and stuff, but he's always about what's best for the country of Westeros.
Mhm.
That's all he wants is what's best for
I
the
never
people.
thought he seemed evil.
He is never about who's on the throne. It doesn't matter who's on the throne. He'll find some way to get the right person in the right spot. And Tyrion is one of the right people he wants in a right spot.
Right.
So that's why he has done so much for Tyrion and wants to keep working with Tyrion to get him taken care of. But that whole scene was very important, just so Tyrion doesn't drink himself to death.
Right. Well, that's so I wrote that down. Tyrion and Daenerys, like that's, and I'll ask you guys this in a minute, but that's one of the things I'm most looking forward to. And in the trailers, that was my favorite part of however many trailers they showed was when at the very point when Varys said, "I didn't say anything about it being him," and then it went to a shot of Daenerys.
Yeah.
Because that's my theory, and we'll talk about that too. But that's my theory for the entire everything of Game of Thrones is it involves Daenerys. So
There's some really interesting storylines that will come up if they continue to stay close to the books with namesakes and things that are going to happen. You'll just have to keep watching, but there's some really interesting things that'll happen. But that's why I don't know how it'll end because there's a lot of pieces still to put together before he gets the last books out. But anyways, the next big scene was Daenerys and Dario, which hey, Dario's knocking some boots with the queen.
ain't nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. But they're talking about something that comes up later in the trailer as well. It'll be later, and it's the fighting pits. And that is something. And what it's doing, and he's talking to her about her dragons as well. He's like, "You're the queen of dragons. You need to have your dragons." And she goes down to see her two dragons, and they don't like her very much right now. And her other dragon's
they're
gone.
angry.
Drogon is gone, and the other two I can't remember what they're.
And mad about crapped himself.
But
Yeah.
like, the thing is, I think that's a metaphor for her kingdom right now. It's kind of crumbling underneath her right now when she's trying to play political office instead of being conqueror. So her dragons have turned against her during this. I think once she finally gets her head on straight and does what she's supposed to do, the dragons will start acting the way they're supposed to act. Like there's a connection between them. But that's just my own personal opinion. And yes, Matt did crap his pants. I crapped my pants as well. There were two giant dragons in front of her about to eat her face off.
There were. Well, it was a black room, and then all of a sudden there was a friggin' dragon head breathing fire.
Well, that's what dragons do. They're sneaky.
They do.
They are.
They're like ninja dragons.
Especially when they're chained up.
Smaug go sneaking around all over the place. Okay, so there's that. Then we finally finish with the ending with is Jon Snow going in and talk to Mance Rayder. He's telling him, "Hey, just take the knee. It doesn't matter. You're
Right.
scared. Blah blah blah. Do it. You won't die." Man's like, "No, I can't do that. I'd lose respect of my people. Blah blah blah. You don't understand what we're doing. Why we're doing what we're doing. You don't get it yet. Pretty much, John. You don't get it."
Yeah.
And so he gets drug out there. Melisandre does her talking of the sun god and blah blah blah, and starts to burn him at the stake. And Mance
can't
doesn't
stand
want to
her.
be.
You don't like Melisandre?
No.
I don't
Why?
know. I
You
think
don't-
she's hot, but
Yeah.
She's an evil bitch.
yeah, she's,
Well, okay. There's that, but yeah, I mean, she's yeah. Well,
Have you
she
seen what she's done in the earlier episodes?
gave birth to a giant smoke monster, but
Yeah,
I mean,
she's kind of.
hold a grudge, Dave. Jeez.
she's like Vader, but with better boobs.
Right.
Yeah.
That's accurate.
So, anyways, he starts burning. John doesn't want to see him suffer. Doesn't want to see him cry out. He doesn't want to do it. John puts an end to him with an arrow to the knee, so he can't be an adventure anymore.
Except it was his
High
what?
for the knee.
Except he was really
With an arrow. He meant to shoot him in the knee, and he totally missed.
right in the heart.
Right in the heart.
Uh,
Which was okay. So let's talk about that. I thought that was an excellent ending to the first episode. Again, so I said that first episodes are usually just they're kind of slower, their story setups. That was a powerful ending, and I when that happened, I wrote down Jon Snow is a badass because, and just like they talked about in the little after show bit, the behind the scenes bit at the end, Jon Snow is going against the wishes of a king because Stannis wanted to see him burn. But he doesn't care about that. He has so much respect for Mans, and he's not. It kind of looked like the look on his face just looked like I'm not scared of you. Don't f with me. I don't care if you're the king. I mean, I don't know if that's what really he was thinking, but that's how it came across, and that just makes Jon Snow awesome. I think because he doesn't care.
Have you ever seen the movie Kingdom of Heaven?
No.
Yes.
The one with Orlando Bloom as
Oh,
a
yeah.
knight and fighting the Crusades.
Still no.
And he plays this part as a knight, and he plays it straight to the bone, where everything he does is for the righteous, what you're supposed to do. And no matter who hates him or what he loses and what he gains, it doesn't matter. He always does the right thing, and that's what he's supposed to do through the whole thing. I think that's what Jon Snow's character is kind of like now, where it's just like it doesn't matter who's on what side anymore because there's a greater evil that's coming. I'm just going to do the right thing either way. I don't care if I make you mad. I don't care if you're going to kill me. Whatever. I'm doing the right thing, and that's kind of where he is right now.
I just saw the look of shock on men's people, and when he got shot, they were like kind of turned around like what the and saw him. So I've kind of wondered what's going to happen with them towards Jon Snow.
I think that probably made them gain respect for him, or it probably put him in their favor. I mean, I think they looked on that favorably, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a lot of story. They're really into 4 and 5 now with him, and there's a big storyline that's coming along with the wall there. So some good stuff that'll come out of it. So there you go, guys. That's the end. That's all we have. That is the full episode. We all enjoyed it, and we'll do it again next week.
Well, wait. So hold on. So there's a couple things I wanted to talk about first. So
No.
in this season,
He said no.
dictatorship. So in this season, what are you most looking forward to? Like what do you want to see, or what storylines? It's kind of goes hand in hand with what are your favorite sub stories?
Yeah.
Anything with boobs. I mean, what do you want to see though? Like, what are you most excited to see happen?
So my stuff, one of my things is it hasn't been shown yet, and that's down in Dorne.
Okay.
And they've already talked to the ladies that are playing the parts that'll be coming up. And I don't want to give anything away. It'll come. It's not giving anything away. You're going to meet the Vipers of the Sand.
Yeah.
And that's all of Oberon's daughters. And they're all bad mofos.
Okay.
They're all killers and assassins. They're pretty awesome. So that wasn't shown. There's another part, Arya's story.
Yeah, see,
that was not shown.
That's right.
And I love Arya anyway, so wherever that goes, and her storyline is really cool. It's getting even better now. What she's about to go into.
Well, in the preview, what was the house in the black and white and had the black and white doors?
Yeah.
That's
so
going to be
about to go into a really cool situation.
Yeah.
And then my other one was the Sons of the Harpies. I almost said Sons of the Herpes.
No, that's something different. That's
They
different.
start spreading a bad disease around the free cities, and the whole place.
The
collapses.
brothels in Marine and all the Unsullies that are going in there. Unsullied that
And
are
they're
going.
not sexing them; they're just laying with them.
That's right. Well, the one guy was.
Getting their throat slit.
They're getting the throat slit, but they can't sex them up. So yeah, those three are kind of what I'm. Actually, there's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff you're looking forward to.
Happen with Brian and Jamie Lannister. There's just a lot of cool. So somebody else go.
Well, so there's a few things I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Tenarian. That's their couple name. That's Tyrion and Daenerys. That's their couple name. Tyrion and Daenerys kind of getting together and working out a deal or whatever however they end up working together. Because I've said this since since season 2 or 3 when Daenerys started taking over everything in the East. I honestly think that at the end of everything, she's going to wind up being queen because she's over there gathering an army of tens of thousands of soldiers who are willing to die without even flinching. She's going to just march them into Westeros and just take everything.
She's got to get over there first.
Well, yeah, and I haven't read the book, so I'm TV show only. I may be way off, but it just looks like to me that's what's going to happen. So I'm excited to see them get together, though. I actually didn't like Daenerys for the first several seasons, but I like her ever since she really started coming into her own and stopped being so whiny. Khal Drogo, you're my moon and stars or whatever, and she came into her own and started conquering cities and ending slavery and doing all this stuff. I'm excited to see what she does. And then, of course, anything with Jon Snow up at the wall and the wildlings and all that stuff, because all this, that's what I love, is all this crazy stuff is going on with all these families and who's going to take the throne. But then you've got up at the wall, you've got the Night's Watch, and then the White Walkers. I mean, something's going to happen with them in the future. I mean, so you've got all that stuff. Jon Snow is awesome. So anytime he's in a scene or he's involved in a storyline, I'm definitely interested in that, especially now that Stannis is in there too, because I actually kind of like Stannis pretty well. So I'm really interested to see how Jon Snow's defiance against what Stannis wanted, how that's going to play out. I'm really eager to see that. Probably those two things are, and then anything with, and probably the third thing is Tommen, right? Tommen, the young king, Tomlin, yeah, and Marjorie. I want to see how she. I like. Of course, I really like Marjorie, but I want to see how she keeps weaseling her way into the throne with a young king. I'm excited to see that.
Where is Bran Stark?
He is.
Oh yeah.
That's another one that wasn't shown. So my prediction for next episode is we're going to get Bran, Arya,
Right.
Theon,
Right.
the Boltons.
We're probably going to
all
get
the things we didn't see.
Yeah,
we're gonna
exactly.
see
Everybody
in
else that we didn't see this episode.
Well, one of my biggest things is I just want to see if a Stark ever makes it back to Winterfell. I just don't know if that'll ever happen again.
That's true.
Maybe.
So,
Maybe.
so
But Winterfell's burnt to the ground right now, so
Yeah.
There's not much to come back to anyway.
as of right now, no. Anything else, Opie? Anything else?
no, you guys pretty much covered it all.
Okay. Dave, how about you?
Arya Stark. I want to see what happens with her. I mean, I really like Tyrion. I really want to see what happens with him too. But she's pretty much out of the show. She's pretty much, well, between her and Jon Snow, it's a real toss up who is my favorite character of the entire show. But yeah, I really want to see what happens with her.
Anything involving any of them, yeah.
I'm really curious to see what road Jamie though takes. I think since last season of him kind of seeing the other side and everything's happened with Tyrion, I think Jamie's going to play a big part in what's to come. I mean, who knows if he'll still. He just doesn't. He's not really acting like a Lannister, like he used to.
He's
before.
he's definitely completely different than he was.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Well, cool.
So yeah, so an
That's
exciting season coming up, and we can't wait. We'll be here every week, doing this after every show.
Every show.
Yep. So be sure to subscribe to us. We'll be live streaming it on YouTube and then posting it. This is our first time live streaming to YouTube, so I don't know if we have to post this or if it just shows up, but it will be on the channel afterwards. So if you don't get to see it live, you'll be able to watch it later. And which may be a good thing if you haven't watched the episode yet. But yeah, so subscribe to us on YouTube. We do a lot of Twitch streaming, video games, stuff like that. Twitch.tv/NerdPunch, and then Facebook and Twitter both at Nerd Punch.
There you go.
So yeah, that's it for this week, guys.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks guys, appreciate it. We'll see you next week.
See you later.